Rebecca, what are you doing in this place?
Your right hand comes off?
You saved me!
Yeah.
Those zombies are everywhere! Not to mention that thing that got Ben.
It's called Two Brothers. Two Brothers. It's just called Two Brothers.
Welcome to another episode of Two Brothers.
Two Brothers.
This episode, we're going to switch to video games. Depending on what order we're going to release these episodes. Maybe the last one was already video games. I don't fucking know. We don't know. But this episode is... we're excited about this episode because we're going to talk about Resident Evil.
Yeah, one of our favorite
franchises in video game history.
And I think it's one of the games that made me, fall in love with video games.
Yeah, it's one of our, it's kind of weird saying that a horror game is one of our childhood games, but it is. Yeah. It's near and dear to our hearts, and we thought it'd be fitting because we've been playing a lot of Resident Evil games and everything, so, fuck it, we might as well just talk about Resident Evil. We don't know exactly what we're going to talk about because we just, we're just going to do it off the top of our head and shit like that. But, anyways, let's get into it. No formal introductions or anything. You know who we are. I'm Alberto.
Edgar.
So, let's get right into it. What's a good place to start with Resident Evil?
That's what I was going to say. It's tough to where to start. We're going to be jumping all over the place here. Like I said, it's near dear to our hearts, man. And lately, for the last 2 months, we've been playing Resident Evil. That's all we've been
replaying all the old
watching
games.
YouTube videos.
Just watching people play it, review it, do their own retrospectives on it. So,
let's say, what's the game that got us into Resident Evil? I guess we can start there.
Yeah, well, you start, because I was going to say Resident Evil 2, but I think yours goes back further.
Yes, mine goes way back. Not way back. It's the director's cut. The first Resident Evil on PS1. The cover itself got me, as a kid.
That's an iconic.
It's just a zombie cover on the cover. That's it. And I think I would play the game when our brothers weren't. They were at school.
Yeah.
Or working or whatever, doing their own thing, and I'll sneak into the room and play Resident Evil. And I think I only get to the part where you meet the first zombie, and that was it.
Oh, man.
And after that, I didn't know what to do, and then I get killed by a random zombie, and blah, 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 right? But it's how, to me, this is how impactful Resident Evil was. I thought zombies were real. Oh, yeah. Growing up with Resident Evil, then watching Night of the Living Dead, and all that shit.
Dawn of the Dead.
It just made me think, holy shit, there's zombies out there.
Yeah.
But not in the United States. And
only in Mexico.
And I saw the world map once, and isn't there a place called Zombie or in Africa?
Zimbabwe?
No, oh my god. I think there is. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but shit, it's close to Zombie or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, right. Maybe I made it up in my head as a kid, but I saw that and I told Sergio, our other brother, is this where the zombies come from? Yeah. You know how he is. He fucking told me, that's where this game is based off of.
Yeah, it's fucked up. They only fed into that.
Yeah,
giving us more nightmares.
Yeah, holy shit. And that made me even scared to play the game now. This shit's real. There's zombies out there. Yeah. But, growing up, you figured out all that shit was, fake. Your brother was just feeding into it, make you, get you all scared and blah, 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 this and that. And then, Resident Evil was the first one that got me introduced to all this. I saw one of your other brothers play it, and I would sit there and watch him play, and just as a kid, it just fascinated me,
Yeah, it's one of those games where you don't have to really play to enjoy it. You can just watch someone else play it, and I don't know, it's just, for me too, I enjoyed watching, our brothers play it, and kind of see them react to those, scary moments, and in the game and shit like that. Like, wow, it made me kind of anxious. I don't know if scared is the word I'd use with Resident Evil, because I think 4 was where was really more like frightened, but the other ones I was more like anxious to play it. It was just very like stressful to play those fucking games, man.
Well, as a kid, yeah.
Yeah, as a kid, for sure, as a kid, but even as an adult too. I mean, I was stressing out fucking playing the game recently, so it's one of those games that even till this day, even the older titles can still kind of like lull you into that world and shit.
Yeah, it just growing up, Resident Evil was part of my life, you know.
Yeah.
That's all I saw my brothers play was that and Metal Gear all the time. Was those two franchises? So
yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, Resident Evil 2 is where I got introduced to.
Can you tell me how you got into it?
Like, I got introduced to it by watching. I don't know who it was. I think it might have been Ivan or Sergio play it. But it was just watching them play it, and I was just very fascinated by it. Fascinated by the cover of Resident Evil 2, which is what we have, playing right now. And like the discs too, they looked really like, like cool and very like mysterious, and then I finally also like jumped into it and started playing it, like little tidbits of it. I think I only made it to like the police department. I just like didn't know what the fuck I was doing, but and then just I was a viewer, like an audience member watching them play it, and then it was 4 that I jumped into and like really started to play Resident Evil games.
Damn,
it was in part 4. That's when I started playing, because the other ones only played like a little bit of it, and then it was 4, and then I went back, and then like I started playing like 5.
So for you, I want to, because you played them recently. So you're saying Resident Evil 2 on PS1 right now? Was that the first time you ever played it full?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is really
because I played it on GameCube and passed it before.
Oh, so that's what I'm saying. So you did play it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say this is the first time I played from beginning to end by myself. I think in GameCube we may have taken turns. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I do remember playing Resident Evil 2 on the GameCube. But this is the first time I played it from beginning to end, and it stresses me out even when I was playing it lately. Like I just didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
I think this is where a lot of people fell in love with the franchise too. Was Resident Evil 2.
It shook up the formula too. It wasn't. I mean, it was also very frightening and scary, but it was more action too than the first one. I
don't know. They nailed it on this one. You know.
Yeah.
Until this day, everybody considers this one to be the one that they fell in love, and it's a classic now.
Some people even say that this version, the PlayStation 1 version, is their favorite one, like even above the RE2 remake.
Yeah.
So that should tell you just how like impactful that game is to the franchise.
I knew about it. I didn't play that much because by then our brothers would hide their games. You know, the fucking assholes when they did that. Yeah. They would hid their games, and
that's how I would find them too, like in the drawers, like dress drawers. See Resident Evil 2 in there.
And the thing about this one, how impactful it was, is that our brother would play it constantly. You know, playing Leon A, B, Claire A, B, him finding the fucking tricks, tips, and the cheat codes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember when I was playing, I don't know why he would always do this. I would tell him, can you put in a cheat code for infinite ammo and shit? And he would always give me shit about it. Like, he would never do it until I kept bugging him, and he would do it. But he would, turn away and put the code in. You motherfucker.
Well, I think that's just how much it contributes to our childhood. Like those little moments, So it's really cool.
But and our cousin, Mono would he would play that shit too. So it was kind of like between our families, They were, where you left off?
Yeah,
did you figure this out? And
it was one of those games where that I remember one of the first games people talking about it too. Because I even had like my friend Alex talk about it, and we also kind of exchange, like, well, where are you at in this part? And it's just that's only one of the only games that, like, besides maybe like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, where you can talk to someone else and say, like, where you at? Do you know how you do this puzzle? Or like, where do you pick this up? Like, oh, did you pick up the handgun rounds there? Oh, like, you really need to go back and get that. And it's just there's no other game like that. At least no other horror game that does survival horror that way. So moving on
to Nemesis.
I guess. Well, we're not going by
you dick.
I was gonna tell you what's your favorite Resident Evil game, because we can sit here and look. Everyone would expect us to fucking talk about from Resident Evil 1 all the way up to the newest one.
Yeah,
that's not what we're doing in this episode. This is
before we go to tell which one's our favorite. I want to talk about, because again, you played Nemesis for the first time.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And I want to get your review on it, because you. I don't know. You tell me what you think about Nemesis.
Nemesis is, oh man, that game. This is gonna sound really stupid to people who already played it multiple times, but from like a first time player of Resident Evil 3, I found it pretty overwhelming, man.
Really?
And it's weird because, like, people know what the fuck they're gonna do in that game when they play it, but for me, it's like there's so many different, like, nuances to the game, you know, where you can choose different choices, and it all leads to the same thing, but, like, there's just little stuffs here and there that change how you play the game. And like I told you, like, towards the end, I didn't pick up the fucking huge rocket launcher where you get the umbrella card.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the umbrella card, but it's like towards the end of the game where you're like opening shit up with the card. Like, I just completely skipped that, and I still had it in my inventory, and I just fought the Nemesis with my Magnum and shit. And it's like, you could use the rocket launcher, or, you know, there's, I think you collect different gunpowders, like gunpowder A, B. Yeah. I never collected C.
I think there's not a lot of C, I think.
Then I don't know. I couldn't fuck. Maybe I just sucked.
There's some, maybe like at least 10 out of the whole game, maybe.
Really?
I think it's just yeah.
I know it's for like
rare.
Explosive,
yeah,
like for the grenade launcher and everything, but I couldn't for the life of me find it. I felt fucking embarrassed to be a Resident Evil fan. I couldn't fucking figure that shit out. But I also didn't want to look up a walkthrough. I want to play it blind and shit. But I think I like the controls of 3 more than 2. You know, because it has the quick turn.
Okay.
That wasn't in 2. The action feels a little bit more engaging. The pacing is also a lot better in 3.
You played it in normal first, didn't you, or no?
Yeah, for a little bit, and then I bitched out and went to easy. I couldn't do it in normal.
Yeah, Nemesis, like, it was up your ass constantly,
all the fucking time, man. All the fucking time. I would, like, leave the safe room, and he'd be fucking
just waiting by the door.
Be there. I'd go back in, and I'd get out, and then he wouldn't be there, and then he would be in the next area. It's like, fuck this. I'm going to easy mode. I can't deal with this shit. Then I found out you were there too. That on easy mode you can't collect
the things that he drops.
Yeah, you can't collect that in easy mode. So that's like,
yeah.
What the fuck's the whole point?
What was your rating on the game?
I think it was like a D.
A D?
A D or C. I died a lot.
Did you?
Even on easy mode, I died a lot.
So how many hours was it?
I think it was 6 hours.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I think it was 6 hours.
6 hours. How many times did it tell you how many times you saved or no?
It must have been like at least 16 times. Which, if Resident Evil fans know, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Because if you play a Resident Evil game, especially if you already know what you're doing,
and
you're probably going to save it once
or twice.
Once or twice, and that's it.
Yeah.
I ended up saving it like 16 times.
Jesus. Well, it was your first time, so.
Yeah, but yeah, that's true.
So overall, what'd you think? Did you?
If I were to put like a score on Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, I'd probably give it like an 8.5.
Oh, so it still holds up?
It still holds up. No, you know what? Yeah, I'll give it a 9. I don't know why I'm saying 8.5.
Okay,
I'd say a 9. It's pretty good. I didn't find much that I didn't like about Resident Evil 3. Maybe the puzzles kind of.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of puzzles in there.
the pacing.
The worst
with the
one is
puzzles.
in there with the fuck. What was it temperatures?
Oh, I figured that shit out quick.
By
I was
yourself,
also-
or did you look it up?
I looked it up.
Say that's why,
So
asshole.
yeah, there you go. I did. Because I knew how difficult that puzzle was for you, so I was like, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go through that shit like you did. I'm just gonna look it up. So
All right.
it still holds up for sure. And I would even say this. I think it's better than the remake.
Fuck you.
You don't agree?
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Come on, dude. Nemesis fucking follows you in this version of the game more than he does in the remake.
Yeah.
I think how many times does he follow you in remake? You can't even name it because that's how much he's not in the game.
It's not a bad game, the remake, but
Yeah, but it feels a lot more linear than the second one. I mean, the second one is linear, but it also gave you like you could explore the fucking police department for maybe 6 or 7 hours by yourself.
Yeah.
It was your first time, you know. But in 3, it kind of feels like they're holding your hand throughout the whole experience. You kind of know where you're going. And in 2, at least you kind of had to figure shit out a little bit.
The remake?
Yeah, remake.
Okay.
2 for sure you had to figure shit out. I'm still trying to figure shit out.
All right, so back to the question, which one's my favorite?
Yeah.
I'm not going to think about it because it's there already. It's like, well, I'll say this. These two games, they're like neck to neck.
Okay.
But still give it to Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4?
Yeah.
That's surprising because I don't think you played it as much as I did.
Well, I'm kind of up there. Like I would say I have at least 20 under my belt. That's how many times I beat the game.
I think mine would be like double that. At
Yeah,
least.
I
At
think
least.
so. Well, you got every version on it.
Yeah, I got every version. We just recently picked up the PlayStation 2 version just for shits and giggles, and you know what? That's where I got introduced
Yeah.
to like Resident Evil 4 was on the PlayStation 2. It doesn't look good though.
Doesn't hold up.
It doesn't fucking hold up. I'm sorry, but
Excuse me.
especially with like all the new ports, the HD ports, it just doesn't hold up.
But yeah, the other one has to be the remake, Resident Evil 2.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Resident Evil 1 remake.
No.
Resident Evil 2. That is a good choice though, because
It's just, it brings back, like, again, your childhood, man.
yeah,
It's there. Like,
Let,
it improved.
let's get into that a little bit because like
Okay.
so you said that Resident Evil 2 is like your childhood, so is mine. When you first played Resident Evil 2 remake and you walked into the police department, how did that feel to finally like see it reimagined on new generation consoles? That because like I said, I played Resident Evil 2 on PlayStation 1 recently from beginning to end. But you have more experience with 2.
Which
On
one, the
the
remake?
the older one, the original
Yeah,
Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
You have more memories of that than I do. So playing on the remake, walking through the police department, how did that feel to see like those old areas again?
Man. I don't want to say it's not tough. It did bring me back to those moments when I saw our brothers play and stuff like that. It like when you go through the hallways or the sides, each side of the police department, you are awe to see the new and improved police department. Like when that hallway where you in the original Resident Evil 2 when you meet the liquor.
Yeah.
It was a cool way to introduce him in the remake too.
Yeah.
How he left the trail of fucking bodies.
It subverted your expectation because that's what you expected to see. And you didn't. All you did was you saw what he left behind, like all the shit that he fucking he killed those police officers and shit.
Yeah, and like Martin again.
Marvin?
Did I say Martin?
Fucking Martin. Who the fuck's Martin?
Marvin. They gave him a little more of a role in this game.
Yeah, he had more character and more depth, I guess.
What the fuck was that?
It's Resident Evil.
And the helicopter when it crashes, that was only in
scenario
B,
right? Yeah.
In each one, and it's cool how they just introduced that in like in the normal,
like the first run.
Yeah,
of the
the
game.
first run.
Yeah,
and the other one that throws
throws you off. Or
is
like,
Mr. X.
Yeah.
You would think, oh, he's probably in the original scenario B.
No, he's in the first one.
You're all fuck.
And and this is like, everybody knows this with the new generation of consoles, like he follows you, everywhere. It's not like the limitations of the PlayStation 1 where he will show up in certain areas. He shows up all the fucking time.
and you can hear him in different rooms. You can hear him
and everything. And it's
that was a cool little fucking, like, just a little...
Which makes Resident Evil 3 a little bit more disappointing with Nemesis, because he doesn't have that kind of, like, ominous feeling as Mr. X does, you know? There's, like, rules to Mr. X. Like, if you shoot or if you make a lot of noise, he's going to come find you. Like, he can hear that. And shit like that. Like, there's a video that explains how his AI works and shit like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he will, like, go searching and shit like that. And if you're... I think, what is it? If you haven't seen him for long or something like that, like, he will spawn and then, like, show up to fucking scare you.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
see, that's
like,
cool.
That's really, like, if you make noise, if he hears you shooting or something, like, he goes and fucking chases you and shit. Okay. Like, that's something that's really fucking cool and scary too. Like, the first time
playing it, you were fucking too scared.
Stressful, man.
Like, he's out there. I'm not gonna fucking.
Yeah, you can hear him, like, outside of the save room, dude. Like, fuck that.
See those little things they put in that game, dude. It's like.
So RE2. So you said RE4 and RE2, but which one?
Remake.
RE2 remake. Which one? If you had to choose one though between those two, would it be RE2 remake? Is that what you said?
No, Resident Evil 4.
So Resident Evil 4.
It's just again, this one is, I would say, my number one overall favorite game. And
I'm gonna say it too before. Resident Evil 4 is my favorite. So let's talk about that then.
The only reason why is just. Well, like with you and our brother Ivan, we had like a brother bond with that game.
Brother bond,
like a bond with that.
Sounds like a Disney movie.
Well, you and Ivan, so it was like a brother, you know.
That was man.
Like during the night, I think he was still in college. I don't know, but
so,
he was.
Ivan?
Yeah,
I think he might have been.
He would take a break and come over our room and he would play.
I remember when we first bought it. I think it might have been like a week into having it. He came into a room like around 9 or 10, and I woke up and he like already had it booted up and he was playing it and everything. Like, oh man!
Yeah, he would play at least a chapter or two and go back to his homework or whatever.
And he was so obsessed with making sure that his hit ratio was 100%,
which is
all
impossible.
The fucking time. It's impossible. He wanted to make it possible, but you know what? Something I wanted to say was that when I would watch him play Resident Evil 4. He would experiment with the knife, and so he thought that if he missed with the knife, it would contribute to your hit ratio, but it didn't. But now, ever since then, that shit is like ingrained in me. Every time I play the game and I miss with my knife, it's like fuck. Now my hit ratio is off.
No, that's a little bit in me too. Like when you see the diamonds and it brights or sprinkles or whatever, like tells you and if you miss, I'm like, fuck, there goes my hit ratio too, because that's our brother. He used to always do that when he missed or whatever. So there it goes.
Another thing too is we talk about it where he would like in the older Resident Evil 2 games, he wouldn't pick herbs.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I don't even know herb.
Like, you're in caution.
Yeah, like pick up that fucking herb. You need it. But that's also something I do now. It's like, I don't know if I need that herb now. I think I'll be okay.
It's little traits like that that left
an impression on us, you know. Yeah. So
that's why it just. And he would experiment with other guns. We would just stick to the ones that we got, and he would tell us like the Red 9s were better guns,
or the Black Tail,
or the Black 10,
shit like that.
So really, so okay.
Yeah,
we were listening.
So the Resident Evil 4, the reason why it's my favorite is because it's really stressful. Really.
Oh my god! It's all. Might as well just say all of them.
I know I said it for all of them, but for 4, I really mean it because like it was the first game where you're being chased by fucking villagers. It's not zombies anymore. And you have to manage all that shit.
You couldn't do the beginning of the game.
I couldn't do it. I had to hand it over to you because it was too fucking scary for me, man. Being chased by...
The area he's talking about is when
The beginning of the game,
like when you go the village,
the first village section.
Yeah, where the chainsaw guy shows up and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it. I couldn't do it neither, but I had to man up and
because you
do it.
You had your little brother. You had to show him what's what.
But yeah, oh my god! Like, well, the PS2 wasn't the first time we got exposed to the game. It was the GameCube.
Yeah, which was an event in and of itself too. But
Yeah.
Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, like that's the reason our brother bought his GameCube was to play Resident Evil 4 because it was exclusively for Nintendo GameCube. So.
And he bought it, and
that like you said, you can sit back as a
like a backseat gamer, and just watch them play it.
And like, fuck, I want to get my hands on this.
And I did. I remember telling Sergio like I'll throw away the trash if you just let me fucking play it. and I threw away the trash, and he would let me he made sure that he saved, so I wouldn't fuck anything up. And I would just shoot one enemy and hand it back to him or something like that.
That was it. You did.
He didn't want me to fuck anything up that he already had.
Yeah.
So oh man, that was so much fun. So Resident Evil 4 is my favorite.
Yeah.
But if I were to put an honorable mention, I think RE2 remake is
2. Yeah.
I want to say RE1 remake too.
It's which one?
RE1 remake.
Oh, me too. That's right next to it.
We can't not talk about that one too because that one is also fucking a classic.
I think right after he got Resident Evil 4 and he beat it, he went and bought the original,
Sergio?
The remake,
yeah,
Resident Evil.
That was so much fun.
And I forgot what the case said in the back, but it had something cool, like a cool.
Oh, that's
quote.
right. Yeah.
Like something you gotta survive in hell, or something like that. It's something cool, that's said in the back of it.
And that cover too, with Jill being attacked by the zombie. That's so fucking awesome, man.
And that one I was scared of playing too because of the Crimson Zombies.
Crimson Zombies, which was a new addition to that game, and it's I remember seeing that in person, him the zombie coming up, all scary and shit, chasing after you, and can he decapitate you?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. But I was always scared about that shit.
Yeah,
man, that was so frightening. And then. Another thing that they added was you had to burn the corpses if you don't want them to come back.
Yeah, that's a cool addition. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's do you want to risk clogging up your inventory for the lighter so you can burn those zombies, or would you rather just deal with it when they turn into crimson zombies and shit?
That too.
So there was so much micromanagement in that game too.
Also, kind of like what the liquor section of the remake, you expect him to show up in that area, but he doesn't. In the remake with the dogs, remember?
Yeah.
You expect this,
that's
but it's just a crack.
Yeah, and then when you come back is when they break through.
That was another cool one.
Great way to. Damn, dude, Capcom knows what the fuck how to subvert your expectations when it comes to returning to those old games and shit.
The cool thing about that one too is when you get attacked by a zombie, you can have a grenade or flash,
defense items or
a knife. Yeah.
Yeah, and were you talking about RE1 remake?
Yeah.
Because I was about to say they have it in 2 remake.
But the first remake, the Resident Evil remake, was the first one to do it.
Yeah, and then RE2 brought it back.
Yeah,
which is nice to see. Man, we're all over the place, but let's keep moving with the games. So we talked about our favorite games, but let's talk about the other ones. So there's 5, which was
to me, don't even get it started with me, man.
What's wrong with 5? Do you not like it?
No.
What's wrong with 5?
I don't know.
That's your favorite protagonist. It has Chris.
I know, it's a thing. I should love it because it has Chris in it, but to this day, I can't get my hands on white. It still bugs me, or I don't like it. I don't know. Maybe the atmosphere, the setting. I don't know. It just.
Yeah, I mean, I will agree with you there. It is kind of weird when Resident Evil 5 did come out because it's not a terrible game.
No, it's not.
It plays really well, but it's also very familiar to 4. It plays just like 4, and they really try to capitalize on what made 4 successful, and it was still a solid game, but for some reason, I'll agree with you there. It just kind of feels a bit off whenever I play it. Yeah. I can't really put my finger on it. Why, but I wouldn't say I don't like it either, because you've seen me. I played it before, and it's I just have a good time with it.
I don't know. I have to give it a shot. I haven't played it since the 360 version. the gold edition. I haven't touched it since. So I gotta give it. Let's see if I play it. If it gives me another, I don't know, feeling about the game. I don't know. But for now, it's just, it's not.
Yeah, and they were going for like more co-op, so you play with other people and more action. It wasn't really not that scary with 5. I think there were some moments of like intensity and shit, but
it wasn't scary.
No, and it did have Albert Wesker, which had that going for it.
Come on, even the part when you're in the caves or whatever, that's like the least fucking boring
man. Every
part
time
of the
I get
game.
to that part,
it's not good.
Yeah, I feel like after the first part of the game, after you like leave the village and everything, it starts to kind of feel pretty boring. I will give you that. I will give you that.
Then you go to the mines, then the jungle, kind of like with the tribe people.
Yeah.
Then the caves and then the soldiers and was it in a boat or something?
Yeah, it was like a huge ship.
Yeah.
And everything. So
it's like
so I mean, it wasn't the strongest of all the Resident Evil games, but it certainly wasn't the weakest.
Yeah.
Because after that was Resident Evil 6, and that was when it really went off the rails. That game was so fucking weird. That's the only word I can describe it. It's like it's weird because it just doesn't feel like a Resident Evil game anymore.
Yeah, to that point, it doesn't feel like it.
I mean, it still had like Leon's in there. They really tried to like appease all the fans because they had like Chris, had Sherry.
The trailer, man, like that sold me because they're gonna meet for the first time all these characters that we grew up and fell in love with. They're gonna be in this one, and it didn't
live up to the
expectation.
Yeah, it really didn't live up to the hype for me. Even playing it then, I was kind of disappointed by it. Like Leon's like campaign was probably the most fun.
Yeah, it's the better one
for me, and I think people will agree with that. I know that some people will say like Chris was good too, but
or Jake.
Oh man, Jake, I never played as much.
No,
no. Chris, I also played only once, I think. Every time I pick up Resident Evil 6, I always play Leon's because I think that was like the most well balanced of all of them, and it had some elements horror in it, but it was mostly just still action. And I don't know why it's not as the controls. I will say this: the controls kind of over time you kind of get used to it. And I think it's the most fluid of all the Resident Evil games because you get to do so much cool shit if you know what you're doing. But it's just very jarring coming from 5 to 6, where it's just you get to fucking aim and walk.
I'll give it this: it had a lot of content for a $60 game.
Yeah.
Leon, Chris, Jake, Ada. All
and
their
you can
campaigns.
Also, you can play as their partners too. You can play as Helena, Sherry, the other guy.
Pierce.
Pierce. Yeah, so and then Mercenaries is in there.
That was pretty fun.
Which a lot of people will agree was like one of the better like Mercenaries, you know. And then there was like Revelations 2.
Those were good.
Those were okay. I don't think they were the best, but there were fillers for when 7 came out. But hold on, before we move on to 7, there was a few other ones we missed. Was Resident Evil Survivor. We never played it, but I heard that wasn't great.
No.
It was like a rail shooter, whatever. And speaking of rail shooters, we did play was it Dark Side Chronicles or Umbrella Chronicles?
Dark Side.
That was kind of fun.
We had fun with that one.
That one was pretty cool.
That was cool because there was like a new story between Leon and Krauser, which was cool.
Yeah,
how they became partners and stuff like that. So,
and then there was Outbreak and Outbreak File 2, which is I'm currently playing Outbreak.
Yeah, but when they came out, I briefly played it.
Yeah, 2 or 1 or both.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't understand it at the time, like stuff like that. It was online or you needed multiple people to play with it, stuff like that.
Yeah, it was a weird game too, because it really went against the grain from all the other Resident Evil games. Where
when I see reviews or people covering it, I go to the comments on the Resident Evil Outbreak, and people say it should have come out. You know, it came out 10 years earlier before its time.
Yeah.
if it came out now, like on the 360 or PS4, it would have.
It would have succeeded,
worked.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Resistance was the closest thing to Outbreak that came out, but that was
it
wasn't as well received. I want to say it was well received. I think it worked fine, but
Yeah, it wasn't.
it just didn't attract a huge fan base.
I think they should went for another Outbreak.
Yeah, that would have been
that would have worked.
yeah.
That would have worked because that's what a lot of people say. If it came out now, they would have jumped on it or picked it up. Because
Yeah.
of the new mechanics and the new engine, all these controls, all this, it would have worked.
It would have everything would really work.
Uh-huh.
And then there's also Zero. I think that's probably the weakest one in my opinion.
I didn't like that one either.
And I say the weakest one, but I never fucking played it. But that just goes to show you why I don't want to play it, because a lot of people say it's not good.
No, it's not.
You know? And then second to that is Code Veronica, which you played more recently. And that game is...
It's just frustrating and long.
It's frustrating, and it's just... The characters don't really stand out. Claire just... Missed opportunity with Claire.
Yeah.
But a lot of people will disagree. I know there's some people who really like
Love
Code
the
Veronica.
game, yeah.
But for me, at least, it didn't gel with me as well.
Like I said, it's too long, frustrating. There's a lot of backtracking in that game.
So, something I found really interesting is it happens in Outbreak and in Code Veronica. They use the same sounds as Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a testament to how fucking great Resident Evil 2 is, because they had to use the same fucking sound effects for Code Veronica and
But the zombies,
Outbreak and everything. It was so really like, and it still holds up too. Like it works with those games. But that was just a little side note there. And then 7 came out, and 7, I think you even said it, but when it before it came out, it's like you weren't sure that you were gonna like it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was unsure when I saw the trailer.
It was like first person, which was
What
weird.
the hell? Like to me, they seemed to copy PT. It was like right after the
Silent
canceled
Hills,
Silent Hills.
Mhm.
I felt like they jumped on it and
Yeah.
did the same thing, like the first person and stuff like that.
But then it turns out when you watch the making of, they were developing this game for a while before PT, around the same time or before, I think.
It was a first person too, or no?
I'm not sure if they were like going for something like third person.
But remember that we were watching a live stream with the voice actor of Leon on the remake, and he was talking about how Resident Evil 7 was
it was originally supposed to be
a VR game.
A VR game, yeah.
Like that's how it was meant to be played.
And that's true because they came out with the kitchen demo back in like E3, and it was only for VR.
Yeah, so
And so that was like the introduction to Resident Evil, and that was before people knew it was Resident Evil 7. So it went through a lot of changes during its development cycle, but definitely like it was coincidental that people were comparing it to PT, because it came out with a demo that was kind of similar to PT.
Yeah, that's why.
And it was first person, but when the game finally came out and we still had our reservations, I remember even when you bought it, you're like, I don't know if this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
Boy, were we fucking surprised.
Yeah, we were.
Resident Evil 7 was really when they brought survival horror back with Resident Evil.
Like first, you're all man.
And it had,
Why first person?
yeah.
New character. We should have brought back.
Yeah, there was
someone old.
no resemblance to Resident Evil whatsoever.
No.
But for some reason, the gameplay, once you started playing it, I was like, this is Resident Evil.
Yeah.
This is definitely Resident Evil.
It's just, I don't know, it was cool, like with the tapes telling you where some puzzles were or
it's
stuff like
you're
that.
looking into the fucking future.
Yeah.
It was so cool. And
Stuff
you also got like a hint of like who you're gonna be fighting next and
that's true.
and
Yeah.
that was so fucking awesome.
I think it's becoming one of my favorites too, I would say.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. Even though it's just so weird from all the other ones, man, because it just didn't feel like Resident Evil. And even now, thinking about it, like it plays like Resident Evil, but it doesn't feel like Resident Evil.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, like the gameplay feels like Resident Evil, but
the only thing that now that we played it so many times and we beat our own records, we what was it called?
Madhouse. What were you gonna say?
No, like
DLC?
speed run the game,
Oh,
stuff like that. The enemies are so bland now. They're
yeah,
just
that's
it's just
one
that
thing I'll
one
give you.
enemy.
Yeah, it's just the one. They do variations of it, but
It's just that one.
it's
you
the
know?
one. You got the one that looks like kind of like the liquor running
Yeah.
around and shit. Then you have the one with like the huge like blade thing
Yeah.
on its arm. You have the fat one,
Yeah,
but they're all the same looking character.
character
Just looking slightly different,
different. Yeah,
which sucks.
it would have been nice if they brought more stuff. But
Yeah,
more enemy variations. But
yeah. But the bosses, one thing I'll give is the bosses were really cool.
yeah,
Fighting, fuck, what's the guy's name? The dad. I don't know, just like Baker guy, whatever.
yeah, I think that's what to say. Baker.
That's their last name. I don't know what his first name is. Fuck, whatever. But like fighting against him, that was pretty intense.
Which one? With the car?
All of them. Like the car, and then when he has a chainsaw, and then when he turns into a huge fucking monster, that was pretty intense. Fighting Margaret, right? Marguerite.
Margarine.
That was.
She was
like
intense, dude.
God.
She scared me the
What-
most.
Because you didn't tell me. I think you got farther than me. And when she like popped out through that window, you're walking up the stairs. She looks, bitch, turned into a fucking spider. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That was intense. And then fighting. What was it after that? Was it Evie or Eve? Whatever.
I ain't the brother?
Oh, Lucas. Yeah, that's right. You fight. You don't really fight him, but you kind of go through his little like saw game and shit. You have to do little puzzles and shit. That was kind of interesting and fun. And overall, I think Resident Evil 7 still holds up, obviously, because it just came out like 3-4 years ago. But it really set a precedent for the Resident Evil games later.
Sorry, it just hit me like at Resident Evil 7 at the end, you get a return character, and he says his name is Redfield,
Yeah.
and everybody knows it's Chris Redfield, but he doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just thinking ahead. In the trailer, Resident Evil 8, he kind of looks more
Like the
Chris that we
before.
know. Yeah,
I saw a video. I don't know. Fuck, I don't know which one it was, but they explained why his face looks different.
and which one?
In
The
7.
Okay.
Because I think they were trying to go back to how he looked like in 1, the remake,
Oh,
and like try to make him look more like that. And then they do a combination of both with 8, where they're trying to make him look like 5, and also from the older
Yeah.
games. So that's why he kind of looks weird. I think
okay.
that's the explanation for it. I think there's more to it than that, but
And that free DLC, dude. Oh my god, it wasn't.
I
Again,
thought it
wasn't
was
that-
okay, but it was also frustrating too, because there was just so many. Because you're fighting against Lucas again,
Yeah.
and you're having to go through his fucking bitch ass traps. You shoot boxes and they blow up in your face. And
Yeah.
that
It
was
took like almost
frustrating.
half a year to fucking
Yeah,
release
and
that.
it was like what 2 hours of content.
Yeah.
It was free, so you can't really shit on it too much.
But the one that was good was the was Zoe one.
yeah.
With the uncle.
yeah, that
was
fucking
good.
Cool.
I
You
like
get,
that
the Thanos gauntlet, the Sinning
You
gauntlet.
fucking
dude?
punch zombies. I mean, not zombies, the molded and
Yeah, that shit was
crocodiles
fucking
and
cool.
shit. Yeah, that was
Who
cool.
was the boss in that? Was it?
The
brother again,
the dad.
right?
Yeah, I don't know how he looked like. Forgot, but yeah, he fight him
I
again.
find out what his name is. Yeah, so yeah, 7, and then of course we talked about Resident Evil 2 remake. We talked about Resident Evil 3 remake a little bit. Let's talk a little bit more on remake.
Which one?
Resident Evil 3. Sorry,
Okay.
because it's so many fucking remakes at this point. But Resident Evil 3 remake came out last year,
Yeah.
and we were kind of a little bit let down by it. It's not terrible. It's fun, but it just I think
At first, playing it, you're all, this is awesome.
yeah.
Right away with Nemesis
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, you're like, this is good. I know where this is going. Like I'm ready for this ride. Let's do this. But later on, he becomes more annoying,
Mm-hmm.
more of a nuisance, and
It's not terrifying.
no, he becomes less terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
There's some sections that are even a bit frustrating too, I think, in that game.
yeah,
So, and his boss fights are also a bit frustrating too. With Nemesis, when he turns into a fucking like beast,
telescope.
that was frustrating. Um,
and it was short.
yeah,
It's like one of the shortest ones, dude. Like, come on, man.
But here's what I'll say is like if you haven't played Resident Evil 2 Remake or 3, playing those two together, you're really gonna have a good
That's
time.
true. Yeah.
But if you like you and me, we played the shit out of fucking Resident Evil 2
Or
Remake.
play like it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Resident
Evil 3
2.
and then 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
No way. Resident Evil 3 until she gets infected.
And stop.
Then play the whole Resident Evil 2.
I fucking did that.
Then go back.
That was so weird. You should never suggested that.
Well, that's how it's in canon. That's how it is.
But yeah, so playing it like that together is more fun. So yeah, you got that going on. The Resident Evil 3 Remake, at least.
It's not this. It's not a bad game and stuff like that. It's just we expected more out of it. With Nemesis especially because he's iconic.
Yeah.
Like how in the original one, he's known for the pursuer. He pursues you in some certain parts of the game.
And he doesn't do that as much here.
People, he kind of does, but in the wrong, the wrong moments of the game, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I just feel like he evolves too quickly. I think because he starts out chasing you, and then he gets the fucking rocket launcher. He gets a hold of a flamethrower, and then he transforms, and then he transforms again,
and again.
It's just fuck, dude.
Yeah.
This is just too much. But I mean, again, it seems like we're shitting on it, but it's really good. It still plays well and everything. It's just if you've played 2 a lot, like the remake of 2, you don't really have any incentive to go back. Like you can buy other guns and play through it again, but I don't know.
Which one? The third one?
With 3, because like 3, you got that little shop where you can buy like different guns and costumes and there's like there's like Inferno mode, which is even tougher than the hardcore. But I just didn't find any incentive to go back like I did with remake of 2.
Yeah, that was. I don't know, man. It's so. I don't know what to put on it. It's not a terrible game. It's a very fun, Resident Evil game. Like I don't know. It's just.
Yeah.
I guess it's because it's too short and. Again,
and it also is missing a lot of parts from the original too.
And we expected more of it.
Yeah.
Like they gave all the love on the remake of Resident Evil 2, and they just let's make this one quick and throw it out there.
Well, yeah, but we don't really know how it went down, but that's how it feels like.
Yeah.
But anyways, to wrap up, because we're almost at like 50 fucking minutes. This is like the longest episode so far that we recorded.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on a few other things before we leave. We're gonna do like a quick list of this. But what's some of your favorite moments in Resident Evil, and also what's your favorite save thing? Because we're playing Resident Evil 2 save thing. But which one's your favorite? Let's do that one first.
The same thing?
Yeah.
As I told you, I think it has to be.
Is it remake 1 or?
I think it's the director's cut.
Oh right, yeah.
Of the save room.
Yeah,
that's I think it is, or the original. Just the original Resident Evil 1.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know which one it is, but it's the first one I know. Because that's what, to me, a little story, even on the part 2, but the first one is more, it brings me back when I hear it, is when our brothers would, go to the save room, get the items that they need, and they would talk to themselves, okay, I already went to this area. I have to go down this way.
And then you're just hearing the save room.
Yeah, like you hear the save room in the background, and it just connects to me, Even with part 2 with our brother too, the same thing. It's okay. I got a herb, but if I use it, I might die during this boss battle. Stuff like that. Yeah, you're preparing for yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know if other people do that in the save room. You just sit there and think, okay, I already went to this area, gotta go over here, but there's a zombie over there, or
Save rooms are just like, that's your safe haven.
Yeah.
You get to hear that calming music and everything. I think for me, what we're playing right now is my favorite Resident Evil 2.
Same.
It's just iconic, in my opinion. So iconic. And
That's-
it's cool that you can play that in Resident Evil 2 Remake to get that option.
See, that's what I'm telling you. They gave it more love on this one. But think going back to when our brothers used to just sit there and think, if we waited too long, the characters would do, some animations.
The animations and everything, yeah.
They would sit there too and think.
Fucking thinking shit. And yeah, well, where should I go?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my favorite safe theme. And I guess that also counts as some of our favorite moments too in the game. But one of my favorite moments is, of course, the opening of Resident Evil 4, going to that village. That was really cool. And I think at this point it's also iconic. And I think because I know it's rumored if they make Resident Evil 4 Remake, they really gotta nail that.
I think
that opening section,
Like how they put so much love on the second one, they're gonna do the same thing with this.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna be disappointed.
So that's if I were to choose one, that'd be my favorite moment. Is the opening part of Resident Evil 4. I know because there's so much with Resident Evil, but if you can nail it down to one favorite moment.
From the original, it's gonna be from the original when you see the tyrant for the first time.
God,
that scared
awesome.
me.
That is so awesome, man.
When he's in the tank or whatever, and you see his heartbeat,
and he breaks through.
Yeah, that scared me. And he's like fucking 7 feet tall, and
but then also what's cool is that when you hear Chris say whatever the fuck, I forget what he said.
You can't kill me.
You feel pumped, like let's fuck, I can kill this motherfucker.
See, that's how much I know, because
yeah. And let's not get into the acting. The acting is fucking in that game is just cringy.
That's a masterpiece.
Yeah, it is a masterpiece. But yeah, so I mean, we can go. We always say this with all of our episodes. We can go for hours, but fuck talking for hours, bitch.
Yeah.
But this is a podcast where we're gonna talk for a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is probably gonna be our longest episode. Maybe we'll revisit Resident Evil again because there's so much to talk about. Maybe when 8 comes out,
we'll have a review or talk about it.
Talk more about it. But for now, this is just our thoughts about our favorite franchise.
Memories.
We will do it with other games too. Whether it's like old shit like Silent Hill, or like fucking fighting games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. But this is a nice change of pace from the comic book stuff. We'll come back next week. We'll see what we're going to talk about because these episodes are going to probably be out of order. Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know yet.
So yeah, thank you for tuning in to Two Brothers. It's been a great episode. We'll come back next week. Two Brothers.
Give us a like, man.
Give us a like, subscribe.
Tell us in the comments what you think so far about our podcast.
We don't know yet where this is going to go. Yeah. We might put it on Spotify or some shit. Leave us
if you like our little podcast, shooting the shit, thanks for listening.
Disagree with us.
Yeah, that's
shit
fine.
on us, whatever, don't fucking matter.
So, yeah.
But yeah, so leave us in the comments what's your favorite moments of Resident Evil.
Favorite game.
If this is on YouTube, leave a comment or whatever. But yeah, this has been Two Brothers. We'll be back next week.